Hey everyone, welcome back to Rhythm Railroad. I'm doing a little maintenance work today and, basic stuff, cleaning the wheels, cleaning contact points, going through the gearing, and just making sure there's no like fuzz or pet hair or anything in there. Um, and I came across a technique that, even though it's very, very simple, I can't believe that I only discovered it now. Um, I've always watched YouTube videos and I was taught to clean wheels a certain way. And I've been doing it like that for years. And although it's been good, I mean, I've been able to get the grime off the wheels and stuff like that. It's so much more complicated than what I just discovered today. Some of you, when you see this video, are going to be like, well, Dan, of course, that's how you do it. But this is news to me. And so I do apologize if this is like useless information for you. So let me just explain what I was doing before and what I'm doing now. The old school way, or the old method that I was using, was to just take the locomotive, take a piece of paper towel or napkin or something, wet it down with alcohol in the area you were going to use to clean, and then basically place the locomotive on top of the powered track, where it's half on the track to make electrical contact and half off the track to allow for the paper towel to take the grime off the wheels. And the way you would do it would be to select the locomotive on your throttle, crank up the speed to a pretty high clip, and then hold the locomotive down while the wheels spin. And as they're spinning over the paper towel with the alcohol, it's hopefully rubbing some of that gunk off the wheels. And, sometimes I even go like this a little bit to get more of the stuff off. Or if it's really bad, I'll push down on the front a little bit to create more friction. But what I've been noticing is that, first of all, it's a very, it's just a lot of steps to that process. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong while you're doing it that waste a lot of time. For example, if there's a lot of momentum on this locomotive programmed, when you're holding the locomotive down and you speed up the throttle, what's happening is the locomotive starts to shake because it's trying to spin out of your hand. So sometimes you lift it by mistake just by doing even just the slightest motion, and then it stops, and now it has to start through the whole momentum process once again. And to me, that's just very time consuming. Sometimes I've done it where it's like multiple times because the wheels are so dirty that it just keeps stalling, and then you keep having to start from scratch. The other thing is that if I'm actually pushing down on the locomotive like I described before, I feel like the engine's really working hard to push through that, and I don't think that's very good for the motor. So the fact that I might not have to do that ever again is a little bit of a relief, because I don't like to know that I'm damaging my locomotives. And then the other part of it is that while you're doing all of that, you're still not getting a lot of the grime off. And then sometimes when the locomotive moves forward on the napkin or the paper towel, the pin on the coupler grabs on and it bends it and it gets stuck. And there's just so many things that go wrong while I'm doing that I decided to not do that anymore now that I know this new method. So here's what I do now. I pop off the trucks like I normally would just to clean them. I'm gonna pop off these front ones here, just because they're very dirty. So I basically just take tweezers or any kind of flat metal object and just kind of rock it off like this, being very careful not to break the frame parts. And once that comes off, then everything's exposed here. So you have your contact points. Which what I do for that is I just basically take a bright boy or a little piece of a bright boy and just kind of lightly go over the contact points, and right away you can see they get a lot shinier because they're cleaner, so the contact will be better. Then I'll take anything sharp like an X-Acto knife or something, and just pick off any of the junk that I see. There's a little hair and fuzz and little things like that. I just kind of pick it off, because when that gets in the gears, it starts to create problems with the way they're spinning. Sometimes there's some stuck in here and stuff like that. These are generally pretty clean right now, but if I do want to take it one step further, what I do is I pop off the bottom casing. There's one hair here that's fighting me, but there it goes. So I just pop this bottom casing off, and it exposes all the gearing in there. So any kind of hair or anything that's stuck in there, I could take out at that point. But this looks pretty clean right now. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera though, but these wheels are disgusting. They're almost black. And there's some spots where you can see there's more buildup from just from going over the tracks and stuff. So here's the thing. Now I don't even need a power track anymore. This is just a track that I have here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same method, sort of. I'm going to use a paper towel. I'm going to put it down on the track, spray it with alcohol, and then just kind of push it down there. And then I just take the truck and put it on the track, like this. I'm just trying to center this in the camera. And then all I have to do is just go like this. And in 2 seconds, I'm getting more gunk off than I would with the other method. Sometimes what I do is I'll take that, like that, and then just go to a cleaner spot just to do like a double run. This way I'm not picking up the same junk that I'm leaving on the other side. And I like to go on the dry side also, just to clean it off again. But I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera. You can see it on the camera, but it's significantly cleaner now. I mean, those wheels are shiny now. So in 2 seconds, I was able to do that. If I want to take it one step further, what I do is, since the gears are spinning on top of the truck, I just put my finger on the gear and slide it to create a lot of friction. And then I just lift my finger a little bit and just go again, lifts it again, and just keep going around. This way I know I'm getting every spot on the wheel, and so on and so forth. But this is like overkill. I mean, they're already super clean. So in 2 seconds, I was able to do the same thing that would take me, a good 5-10 minutes, just trying to figure out everything else that was going on. And I was still able to expose the pins and clean everything else off. So I find this to be a lot more efficient than the other way. And again, I don't know if anybody is going to actually look at this video and say, oh, yeah, that's great. I'm going to use that from now on. But, it's so much better for me. Then basically I just pop these back in and then go to the next one. Pop that off. So you can see how fast this is. Put it on there, spin them, make sure they're on the track though. Look at that. There's a lot of gunk on there. Just find another clean spot, do it again, go over the dry spot, maybe rub a little bit. Look at all that. And this is just sparkling right now. So, I don't know. That took maybe, without the explanation, maybe a minute to clean that whole locomotive, the wheels on that. And I actually forgot to, let me just pop this back off. I forgot to clean the contact points. So, real quick, just go like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Done. Pop them back in. And when you pop these back in, you got to make sure that the contact plates here are actually on top of the contact points, because sometimes they like to go next to them. Like that. See, this one's next to it. Okay, that's it. So theoretically, this should be running very smooth now. So I'm going to put it on the power track. And I'm going to... Actually, I could have just used... I just bought this thing. I should have just used that. So this is a power railer. Re-railer, I should say. You put it on the track, and the power actually transmits up to the re-railer. So when I pick this, when I select this locomotive on my throttle, 28, 22, Now what happens is the locomotive will run, but it will also rail itself. And there it goes. So, super smooth. Let me see, it's low speeds. See how the light's not blinking or anything, the headlight? That means it's making contact all the way through the wheel. So that's it. Alright, I hope this helps. I hope it's useful for some of you. It sure is for me. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.